We visited the Mediterranean garden at Kew to find out which plants have stood up best to downpours and week-long freezes this winter season. For most plants here, well-drained soil, sunlight and attention to the level of shelter required will help them thrive year-round. We thought the tapestry of green and grey-toned foliage looked beautiful in the winter sunlight, but there were some evident casualties of the weather, so we'll be showing you those, as well as the more perfect-looking plants. We'll also take you to the Duke's Garden at Kew, named after the Duke of Cambridge. No, not that Duke of Cambridge, Adolphus, who took the adjacent house as his permanent residence in 1840. This is a sunny, secluded space for some charming cottage garden-style Mediterranean planting ideas. Created in 2007, Kew's Mediterranean garden includes evocative goat paths winding through aromatic shrubs, atmospheric groves of stone pines and olive trees, the harmonious integration of existing features like the folly, an ancient Greek-style Doric temple built in 1837 for Queen Victoria in memory of her uncle and predecessor, William IV, and incorporating Italian Renaissance design features such as steps lined with pencil cypresses, pairs of ornamental terracotta pots planted with fruit trees, these are pomegranates, and a well-manicured lawn. The garden demonstrates how Mediterranean plants work for formal designs as well as atmospheric naturalistic landscapes. The landscape was conceived to highlight the diversity of the Mediterranean habitat, the importance of conserving this unique ecosystem, and to explain the economic significance of Mediterranean plants. Here's a look on a frosty January morning at small plants, Mediterranean shrubs, other temperate region shrubs that are included in the garden, architectural plants, and trees. Euphorbia face south, charging up their solar batteries, ready to light up in spring with fabulously electric yellowy lime flower heads. The warm tones of the path and strewn rocks convincingly evoke the terra rossa soil of Mediterranean regions. The usually evergreen tree heather, which can be found naturalised in southwest England, does not look its best. According to meteorological records, temperatures in the district of Kew, which is classed as a maritime climate, reached -7.6 degrees Celsius in December, which is cold by London standards, and this may explain the dieback. Fortunately, tree heather will tolerate hard pruning, so all is not lost. This tall shrub offers a long flowering season, smothered in tiny white bells from late winter through early spring, and is extremely attractive to bees and other pollinators. Incidentally, the noisy background chorus you can hear includes crows and ringneck parakeets, which first started naturalising in London in 1893 and now number around 10,000 across the capital. In summer, romantic aromatic cistus, known also as rock rose, is one of the most popular stars of the Mediterranean garden. So how does it fare after a harsh London winter? The detrimentally affected plants we noticed were albus, usually known to be tough and hardy, Iberian rock rose, and hoary rock rose, both of which are semi-hardy. Even with sun, shelter and good drainage, health and hardiness can be compromised by unseasonably mild weather promoting growth before frosts arrive, overly enriched soil creating lank growth before winter, a naturally finite lifespan, the UK lacking sunshine levels of southern Europe. To find out if a plant is still alive, scratch away a small area of bark, and if it's green and moist, there's hope. But please don't do this to Kew's plants, only your own. Five regions across the globe have a Mediterranean climate and ecosystem. These cover just over 2% of the world landmass, but have 20% of all plant species on the globe. The Mediterranean garden at Kew casts its net even wider to include other temperate climate plants. The prostrate Corphi Sephora prostrata from South Island, New Zealand has curiously geometric branches. They look almost computer generated. Another eye-catching plant, this time from China, was the softly spherical mound of ephedra. Originating in Brazil, this unusual shrub with dark green spines creates an interesting fall for the softly textured foliage of cistus and olive trees. Fittingly, as the Heathrow flight path passes overhead, it is also known as the jet plane plant. Its tiny white flowers fill the air with the scent of lilac from late summer. This gorgeous acacia harmonises really well with the gentle grey and silvery tones of many Mediterranean plants. Olive trees are another iconic Mediterranean plant. A really important factor for strong root growth and a healthy plant is well-drained soil. There were quite a few fallen leaves evident around some of the trees, and this is probably due to the recent prolonged cold temperatures causing stress. Leaf drop can also be a sign that roots are waterlogged or too dry, or that the plant isn't receiving enough sunlight. For olive plants in pots and containers, regular applications of slow-release plant food are recommended to provide nutrients for year-round vigour and strength. There's a bacterium called Xylella fastidiosa which arrived in Italy on a coffee plant in 2008. It's been killing groves of olive plants, it's destroyed vineyards in California and citrus groves in Brazil. When buying an olive tree in the UK, it's prudent to buy a British-grown olive. Plus, buying older olives that have been transported all the way from Italy or Spain leaves a huge carbon footprint. The stone pines are incredibly atmospheric, and the low winter light really sets the red tones of the bark glowing. This tree is also known as the umbrella pine or the parasol pine because in its youth it has a bushy globe of branches and needles. In mid-age, an umbrella-shaped canopy develops on a thick trunk. By maturity, there is a broad, flat crown. As well as ornamental value, it's highly prized for its pine nuts. The Judas tree is not dead, it's deciduous, also known as the European redbud. It's a small tree with a prolific display of pink flowers in spring, which grow from the wood and can even sprout up the trunk so that the whole tree looks like pink coral. Pretty heart-shaped leaves follow the flowers, which inspired another alternative name of the love tree. Leaves turn butter yellow in autumn. final walkthrough, and here are some key points we're taking away from our journey around the Mediterranean-inspired planting at Kew. Think foliage. When creating a Mediterranean garden, think of the visual effect in winter, when there are fewer flowers to delight the eye, and incorporate a range of foliage forms for interest all year round. Contrast or complement. To highlight the form of a particular specimen, either partner it with similar leaved plants to magnify the effect, or with a complete contrast to act as a foil. Go global. There's no necessity to be too purist. Mix other attractive temperate region plants with genuine Mediterranean gems. Hardy evergreens. Plant the hardiest evergreens around the least hardy plants, not only for shelter, but if you suffer an unfortunate loss in a bad freeze, there is still evergreen interest to soothe the eye. Plan ahead. Think ahead about the space and effects on direct sunlight as plants grow into maturity. A charming newly purchased European fan palm in a border might eventually grow into a bushy, light-blocking beast, so think how your garden will evolve in years to come and plant accordingly, or be prepared to prune or adapt surrounding planting. There's the classic gardener's adage of right plant, right place for happy roots and a happy face. But year-round perfection is hard to achieve. Even when sun, shelter and well-drained soil are provided, there may still be weather-related casualties in a bad winter. But the drought tolerance of Mediterranean flora in summer heat waves, plus the low maintenance demands of many plants, make them the smart choice.